A lot of people have been screaming authoritarianism for a while, but I have not been one of those until now. Hello, my friend. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and late night's #1 enemy is making some big threats against all of these talk show hosts. Just one day after ABC indefinitely suspended Jimmy Kimmel, the former Apprentice star is speaking out about the not-so-funny comedians in his mind. Aboard Air Force One today, Stormy Daniels' former friend said the following, quote, "When you have a network and you have evening shows, and all they do is hit Trump, that's all they do. If you go back, I guess they haven't had a conservative one in years or something. When you go back and take a look, all they do is hit Trump. They're licensed. They're not allowed to do that." Yes, they are. They're allowed to mock you all they want, if that's what they want. Nowhere does it say that having an FCC license prohibits you from being critical of the person in the White House. Trump, who is a fountain of information, most of it I cannot trust. For example, he said in a press conference yesterday that he won the 2020 election. Today, he shares, "I have read someplace that the networks were 97% against me. Again, 97% negative, and yet I won, and easily, all 7 swing states in last year's election." He added, "They give me only bad publicity, press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away." That, if you didn't get it, is a threat. Threatening the media to silence them because you don't like what they're saying is how dictators and tyrants operate. I have no filter on, but my face is looking pretty lovely. It's because I've been healthy again and I'm back in the gym and I'm happy and I've got so much weight off my shoulders because no more Blake Lively legal drama. And he's clearly giving marching orders to all of his stooges. Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, said on Fox today the following. Quote, "We're going to continue to hold these broadcasters accountable to the public interest. And if broadcasters don't like that simple solution, they can turn their license into the FCC." What does that even mean? We're going to continue to hold these broadcasters accountable to the public interest. What does that mean? What's crazy is that the FCC should be, and historically has been, an independent agency. And on the FCC's website, which might be changed soon, it says, the FCC says, "The First Amendment and the Communications Act expressly prohibit the Commission from censoring broadcast matter. It also states that the Commission's role in overseeing content on the airwaves is very limited." After ABC announced they were putting Kimmel in timeout, Ivanka's daddy posted on his Truth Social the following, quote, "Great news for America. The ratings-challenged Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled." Remember what I said just a little bit ago about not trusting what comes out of his mouth? Kimmel is not canceled. Production on his show has been put on pause indefinitely. But this dude says, the Jimmy Kimmel Show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC. President DJT. Pretty crazy to have the commander-in-chief even sharing an opinion about what these private businesses should do with their employees. But he's not joking with his threats. He says that he believes the networks who criticize him should perhaps have their licenses revoked. However, he adds, it will be up to Brendan Carr, the chair of the FCC. He adds, I think Brendan Carr is outstanding. He's a patriot. He loves our country, and he's a tough guy. Some of you might not know who Brendan Carr is, but here's an interesting and true tidbit. Brendan Carr, the head of the FCC, is a lawyer. And also, in 2024, he wrote the chapter on the FCC in the working blueprint that we're seeing in action now, known as Project 2025. But what's ironic is that in Project 2025, Brendan Carr railed against technology and media companies' censorship of right-wing content and values, and their promotion of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. He wrote in Project 2025, the now head of the FCC, that the agency's top priorities should be reining in big tech. He has promised to hold broadcast TV and radio stations accountable. And just 1 hour after thanking the president for his appointment, Carr wrote on Elon Musk's platform, quote, we must dismantle the censorship cartel and restore free speech rights for everyday Americans. Free speech? No. Only speech that they like, right? It is beyond ironic that the former self-proclaimed champions of free speech and crusaders against cancel culture are now trying to cancel so many for their free speech. Make it make sense. In fact, former President Obama shared some similar words. After the news of Kimmel being put in timeout, Barack said the following, quote, after years of complaining about cancel culture, the current administration has taken it to a new and dangerous level by routinely threatening regulatory action against media companies unless they muzzle or fire reporters and commentators it doesn't like. Boom. That's what's happening, I think. And so does Barack Obama. What do you think? Also, I think you should check out my merch at buypopstuff.com. Sign up for our Patreon to get an exclusive podcast a week and get a personalized video from me on the Cameo website. Cameo.com/P to the E to the R to the E to the Z to the H to the I to the L to the T to the O to the N. My name. And the same Patreon/my name. So, thoughts on Trump's threats and actions? Let's discuss everything in the comments section.